Hello, and welcome back to Relationships and Family Matters. This is Brandy James. I'm sorry it's been so long since we last recorded Relationships and Family Matters. My husband is Dave James. He's busy right now, he's working, but he'll be on the next episode, I promise. So, welcome back to season 3. It has been a long time and we've been very busy, but it's been good. We just celebrated 25 years of marriage in August of this year. Yes, we married in 2000. We have 2 kids, JB and Jasmine, and it's been good. We're empty nesters, so to speak. People call us empty nesters because they're both in college, but they're home an awful lot. It's okay. I enjoy them when they're home, and empty nest is the goal, right? So we miss them when they leave. We're happy when they're home, but they have to be out and make their own place in the world, and they're both in college. So learning to be successful, that's what we want for our kids. Also, what else have we been doing? We have done some traveling. Very exciting for me because that's one of my favorite things to do. And it was a big deal to me because I say to me because it was the trip of all trips for me. It was somewhere I've wanted to go since I was a teenager many, many years ago. And I hate to say bucket list, but yeah, I guess it was one of those bucket list trips, just something I had dreamed about. And that was the trip to Europe. So hopefully I have some listeners in Europe. I enjoyed myself immensely. And let me tell you a bit about that trip. So, I honestly started planning this trip 18 months before we left. And some would say, oh, that's a really far out time frame to plan a trip, but really it isn't for a trip like that. We had to get passports renewed. Ours had all expired during COVID. So I would say, if you're planning a trip overseas, whether you're in Europe, coming to the States, or vice versa, make sure your documents are in order. And we talked about that on another episode. But so let me tell you about our trip. Okay, so we flew into Barcelona, Spain. We stayed there for 2 nights. I booked the hotel through Expedia, so shout out to Expedia. Very helpful. Read the reviews. You want to know the good, the bad, and the ugly about hotels. And since this wasn't a hotel chain, I really wanted to dive deep into what people were saying about the hotel. This was a very small hotel. I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it, don't have it handy. We were in Catalonia. I know that was the name of the area. It was a busy, just a really busy street, which was fine. Had nice wide sidewalks, plenty of areas to explore, shops, restaurants, and the people at the hotel were amazing. We left on a Thursday night, took the red eye. We had to connect in Atlanta. We flew Delta. I upgraded to comfort seats. I really wish we could have gotten first class. It was just out of the question cost wise. Flew into Barcelona. We got there about 9 or 10 a.m. Barcelona time. We took a taxi to our hotel, and when we got there, it was a very small local hotel, but very nice. I did get the breakfast included. I did not want to have to wander around looking for breakfast. Breakfast was a great buffet. We got to the hotel. I figured they could just put our luggage in a luggage room and we would explore the city, but that was not even necessary. We waited maybe 15-20 minutes, if that, for our room, and then it was ready. We were able to go up to our room, freshen up a little bit, Even though I was so excited and barely slept on the plane, it was like freshen up and hit the city. And that's what we did. It was nice. It was hot. We got there in, it was August. It was around our anniversary, shortly after our anniversary, and after dropping the kids off at college. So 2 nights in Barcelona. Staff was very friendly. Expedia.com was very, very helpful. I actually booked the hotel and didn't have to pay until we got there. So that was really, really nice. All right, so 2 nights Barcelona, and some of the highlights we hit in Barcelona. La Rambla, which has a lot of shops and restaurants, very popular with tourists. Sagrada Familia, it's a basilica or a church, just a very large church that they've been not only just like building but adding to for over 100 years. Really, really pretty, over the top. The architecture is amazing. It sits right there on the Mediterranean. The beach was really pretty. We didn't spend any time on the beach. We were mainly in the city, walking around. We took hop on, hop off bus, which was good to get around. Taxis when we needed them, when the hop on, hop off was not running or not convenient. Any recommendations or suggestions? I really don't have any for Barcelona. I would say just enjoy it. The souvenirs, the prices are really inexpensive. We did convert, or not convert, but exchange money to euros before we left. I would recommend doing that a couple of weeks ahead of time, at least 1 week ahead of time, because it's not an instant thing. It takes a few days. I believe the bank has to order the money, and I would recommend taking quite a bit, a few, maybe 400 or 500 euros with you, because I'll get into that later, but that's really key. You need cash when you're there. They want cash, and there are times where you have to pay to use the restroom. So you that's very important. That's urgent, an urgent need. Have cash. That's something I strongly recommend. Okay, so 2 nights in Barcelona. Then we took a cruise, just a short cruise. It was literally like a one-way cruise. Most cruises are round trip. This one was on Norwegian Escape, and I think they offered the option of a round trip. I chose the 4 nights from the port of Barcelona to our next stop was Cannes, France, South France. We When we got to the port of Cannes, we had to take a small tender. That's a small boat from the ship to the dock. And we actually took a bus tour from Cannes to Nice. It took us about 30 minutes, I believe, to go from Cannes to Nice. We took a walking tour through a park. We stopped at a busy touristy area. They had restaurants and souvenir shops. We chose to do some shopping for souvenirs. We didn't eat anything in France. We were so limited on time, and that's one disadvantage, I would say, to taking a cruise and going to different ports. Your time is so limited and you may feel quite rushed. But it was nice to get just a feel of the area, the south of France, the French Riviera, and see it and shop in it and enjoy the time there. One takeaway I had from that area I was quite surprised about. It was beautiful, don't get me wrong. It was absolutely gorgeous. Weather was perfect, water beautiful. My takeaway that I was surprised to see was how rocky the beaches were. Like, you look at this beautiful water, but the beach is not sandy at all. It's like, literally, it looks like gravel. So I was surprised to see that. Never saw that on TV or anything before. So that was a first-hand experience, and it was different, not expected, but still very beautiful. So back on the ship, our next stop on the Norwegian cruise line was to Livorno, Italy. So Livorno, the port is very industrial. They don't even allow you to walk off the ship and explore that area because it would be dangerous because of the machinery and the industry that's there. From Livorno, we took a bus tour from the port to Pisa. Trying to recall how long that trip was. I'm thinking around 30 minutes as well. We went to the city of Pisa, Italy, and we actually climbed the Tower of Pisa. That was an amazing experience for us both, for Dave and I. You can really feel the lean as you're walking up the steps and getting moving to the side to let others come down. They only allow so many up there at a time, and there were well over 200 steps. So I would highly recommend it if you're in pretty good shape and you're willing to climb that many steps and see the tower firsthand up close and be at the top of that tower and see the amazing view of the Italian Alps, as well as the next to the tower. The Tower of Pisa is a bell tower. Just wanted to mention that. I was not aware that it's a bell tower. It's hollow inside, bells at the top. So next to it is the church, and next to that is the baptistry, and that's how they built those three things together thousands of years ago. For sure in Italy, I'm not sure about other countries there, but the church, the baptistry, and the bell tower were built right there in the same location. So the church, of course, for worship, the bell tower to let the people in the city know it's time to worship, and the baptistry was for people to get baptized before they enter the church because they had to be baptized before they could enter the church and worship. So that's a bit of history that I learned there in Pisa. And keep in mind, it was very hot. This was August going into September. I think looking back, maybe we would go a little later in the year, maybe late September, early October, but still the weather was perfect and it was really, really pretty. All right, back on the ship, and our next stop, actually, there wasn't another next stop. We spent the night there on the ship at the same port. We took another bus tour the next day from Livorno to Florence, also known as Firenze in Italian. That bus tour was a bit longer. It took us about an hour to get to Firenze, Florence, from Livorno. And that honestly was the most rushed I felt on the whole trip. My goal was to get to Florence and to see the not only the sights, but I really wanted to get to the Italian market. I had heard so much about it. The leather market. I said Italian market, I mean the leather market with Italian leather. I was so excited to get there, but we met some ladies and they were on a church trip. I say church trip, it was a church group that were on this trip. And they kind of latched on to us. They felt safe, they said, around Dave, because Dave's a tall, muscular man. I get to brag on him now. They felt safe with us and Dave. So we took the bus from Livorno to Firenze, and then from there we took another bus. We took a hop on, hop off bus Didn't have much time at all. We went to the top of almost like a mountain. We could oversee the city. We went to an area where we could see, and I'm sorry I don't have names of these, but it was outside a museum, and you could see a replica of the statue David, Michelangelo's statue of David. Took lots of pictures. We stopped and ate lunch. Of course, we had to have some pizza. It was great. One tip about the pizza there. I know I'm talking fast. I just want to uh, tell all about this trip, just so my listeners know what it's like and what it was like. So you got to have pizza in Italy, right? So we had pizza for lunch. And then, as I was saying, the tip about the pizza, do not order, if you want pepperoni pizza like you get in the States, do not order pepperoni pizza in Italy. Pepperoni in Italian evidently is peppers. So we ordered a pizza at an Italian restaurant in Barcelona, and we got a pizza full of peppers, and we were kind of in a hurry. We had a tour coming up. He apologized immensely when we saw it, and it's not what we wanted. We just picked the peppers off. Like Peter Piper. We picked the peppers off the pizza, and we ate it, and we kept it moving. So in Italy, we knew better. The pepperoni, what we know as pepperoni in the States, is spicy sausage. I believe I'm saying this correctly. It's like a salami or a sausage. That's what we ordered. We kind of knew what to look for when we were in Italy ordering. So anyway, we ordered what we wanted with what we're used to as we call pepperoni in the States. It was really, really good. But then we had literally less than an hour in the leather market. I was so disappointed and so rushed. I got a few things off my list. Yes, I did actually make a list of what I wanted from the leather market. I picked up a few things. I made sure JB got the leather belt and crossbody bag he wanted, and I made sure that Jasmine got the purse that she wanted, and I got the leather jacket, and it was terribly rushed. And that's probably where I spent most of our money. I'm sorry to say. Sorry, Dave. But yeah, he's aware. That's what I did. Okay, so from Florence, back on the ship, our last stop was Civitavecchia. Civitavecchia, it's a port about 40 minutes outside of Rome. So that's where we disembarked from the ship, and we took a taxi. I saw something recently that said that we could have taken a train. I probably would have liked that better. But anyway, we took a taxi to Rome, and another hotel I chose on Expedia that I reserved and paid once we got there. We I chose a very small local hotel. We got there early in the morning, about 9, not too early, but early before check-in time. We did have to put our luggage in a luggage room. This was the smallest hotel I think I've ever stayed in. The room was tiny, but it was very nice, very clean. It included breakfast, and the people were extremely nice. I was concerned before we got there about the language barrier. Not a problem with the hotels at all. They were just over the top friendly, and I'm so glad I booked the hotels that I did through Expedia. Shout out to them. Shout out to Hop On, Hop Off buses, which were great. We took that. Hop On, Hop Off in Rome as well. We stopped at the Colosseum. Oh goodness, there's so much to see in Rome. It's almost overwhelming. The Pantheon, the Forum, the goodness, just look it up. There's so much to see, and it's well worth seeing it in person. Spanish Steps, Trevi Fountain. and the tour of the Vatican. Amazing. Um, when you tour churches, you have to make sure that it may just go towards women, that your shoulders are covered, your knees are covered. It was hot, but I brought like a jacket or shawl. I don't remember exactly, like a very light sweater. The Vatican, very, very hot, no air conditioning, but you have to be covered in the Sistine Chapel. No pictures, and they kept telling us to be quiet. Not us, not me and Dave, but telling people to be quiet because it's sacred. All beautiful, and I highly recommend seeing it for yourself. Looking it up on the internet, I'm telling you, is not the same. If traveling is your thing and you've wanted to go to Europe, you've wanted to see Italy, Spain, Italy, Spain, or France. Those are the three places that we went. But anywhere in Europe, I would highly recommend it. It was a trip of a lifetime for me. I had to pinch myself to make sure that I wasn't dreaming. But I would say this, even if you don't like to travel, it's not your thing, it's too much trouble, it's scary. I understand. I wish I could afford first class seats so we don't have that 3 seat configuration. You have that third person that's talking your head off or coughing their head off. It's nice if you're going with one other person to just have the two of you together. I get it. It's a lot. But I would say do what makes you happy. If traveling's not it, live your life. Live your best life and don't work yourself to death. Working is important in order to afford the things that you want to do. But I was at a conference one year and the speaker was talking about stress and life being short. Yeah, some people say it's short, some people say it's long, depending on what you're doing. But she was saying that we as Americans, we tend to work ourselves to death. And I really understood where she was coming from. She said that when you put work first and your family or things that you want to do second, and you're always in the office, this was before COVID, you're always in the office just working, working, working. This is kind of morbid, but when you have a stroke or you have a heart attack because you've worked so hard, do you know how fast they will replace you? So don't dedicate so much of your time and your life, to being in stressful jobs. And I think we learned a lot of that during COVID, that mental health was so important. Um, that's why this dream trip was really important to me. It's, I think after a certain age, you kind of reassess and you take stock of your life, and your kids grow up and they leave, and you're like, hey, I want to do something for me. So whether it's, hey, my house needs to be remodeled, and you put money there, your body needs to be remodeled, you put money there. Or I want to take the trip of a lifetime. And that's what I chose to do. And there's a lot of other places I would like to go and I'd like to see. I have a niece that lives in Japan teaching English right now. I would love for that to be on my list of trips to go. I also would like to go back to Europe. I'm actually planning another trip. I don't know when this one will take place, but I would like to go to Milan. I want to go back to Italy. I feel like we were rushed and didn't get to see a lot there, but I don't want to double back to the places we went before. I'd like to go to Milan. I know they're about to have the Olympics there. I heard it was beautiful there. Venice, I would like to visit as well. Lake Como, I'd like to see it. And then Dave really wants to go to Paris. So those are some spots I'd like to see. Although Dave is not a planner when it comes to these trips, he's almost like get on the plane and say, "Where are we going again?" In fact, I'm pretty sure he told his mother we were going to Paris before we took the last trip. We did go to France, but nowhere near Paris. But anyway, all of that to say, enjoy your life, folks. Do what you can to be happy. You're not going to be happy all the time. We have to remind our kids that because they are in that instant gratification, always happy kind of generation, whatever that is. You're not going to be happy all the time, but try to be happy sometimes or as much as you can. All right, I think I've talked enough, but stay tuned. Dave will be on our next episode. Welcome back. We're back and better than ever, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.